Jadon Sancho to Manchester United is taken a step further towards completion. It has been confirmed today that Manchester United are the only club looking to sign him, and his true destination, where he wants to be, is Manchester United Football Club. Are we getting some issues here? Because I'm getting a lot of weird stuff going on my screen. Are you all seeing the same thing as me? Is it flickering or is it playing fine? It's working. There it is. I'm very, very sorry. It's not working properly my end. If it's working okay your end, then I'm happy. But the Jadon Sancho move has developed itself and moved forward in the last 24 hours or so. Manchester United and Borussia Dortmund are said to have agreed a fee via intermediaries. All that is waiting for now is for Manchester United to make their bid. And let me reiterate, there's only one club moving to Jadon Sancho, and that is Manchester United. What is also interesting are some of the additional stories that are going to come out from Borussia Dortmund in the next few days. They're going to speak about being frustrated with his attitude, frustrated with his training regimes, frustrated even with his diet and the way he's sort of conducted himself as a professional. Many believe that is very much the safe face in terms of the money that they're appearing to lose compared to last year. And they want to kind of continue to paint this external image that they're not losing players due to being a kind of feeder club, and it's the player that's the issue and not themselves. But Jadon Sancho to Man United has taken a massive step further forward. Confirmation today that Chelsea, Liverpool, they might have a loose interest, but they have made no attempt with the player to make the deal happen. They have made no inroads into the football club. Manchester United are the leading light, and there's two big reasons. Jadon Sancho wants to play for Manchester United. Whether you think he's mad for that or not is another debate for another day, but he wants to play for Manchester United. On the flip side to that, one of the reasons that Dortmund are giving for wanting him out of the club and wanting to move him on is they have reportedly become exceedingly frustrated with the amount of times he flies back to Manchester. Let me repeat, Manchester, not London, not anywhere else, but Manchester after games. This is something that supposedly has been annoying the hierarchy at Dortmund for a while now. But as ever, I want your views. I want your opinions. I want to try and get the live chat up as well, because as I said, my end today, nothing's working too great. I can see some live chat now, which is good. It does appear the stream is working okay. We can't take StreamYard calls because we couldn't use StreamYard today. Massive technical issues. I have no idea what is going on in relation to that. But I do want to hear from you. Get your super chats in. Get your member chats in as well. I can see them all in front of me, and that's a positive, because what an horrible afternoon technically we have had today. A lot of you saying it's working fine now, which is good. Thank you very much to Daniel Sweetman for becoming a first team member of the Terrace. Good evening, Terry. Is there any news on Lukaku to Chelsea? That's from Declan Scott. There's no update in relation to Lukaku moving from Inter Milan to Chelsea, but Chelsea have done a lot of the in work. The kind of ball is now very much in Lukaku's court. Chelsea have let Inter Milan know that they're willing to pay around the £70 million mark. That is ample for Inter Milan, who are willing to sell him. But it's now whether or not Lukaku wants to make the move. In terms of his heart of hearts, if he decides to actually go ahead and do that and get that done. But there's been no update outside of the last couple of days. Terry, what do you think Sancho will come? Absolutely, I do think Jadon Sancho will come to Manchester United. The only way this deal falls through now is if the Man United board stroke hierarchy decide not to put the bid in. It's there. Nobody else is even trying to get him for two reasons. Jadon Sancho would love to play for Man United, and the biggest draw in that, he goes back to Manchester all the time. Returning to Manchester is one of the things that reportedly Dortmund have been frustrated about. He'll finish a Dortmund game and then take a private jet and fly back to Manchester. He's not flying to London. He's not flying to Liverpool. He's flying to Manchester, where he's nearest and dearest in terms of his friends are. I believe his family may still live in the south, but he goes back to Manchester on a very regular occurrence. These two things work hand in hand together for Man United. It would be an embarrassment now if Manchester United were not to sign him from this point. We will take some calls from you this evening. What we're going to ask you to do is phone up via the Discord server. So if you want to phone up, I can answer your calls via Discord, which is what we used to do back in the day. So we're going to go a little bit old school this afternoon and get that done. As I say, I'm just trying to make sure everything's working my end, because as I've already mentioned, it's been an absolute horrible day with StreamYard being an absolute chaos. So if you want to phone in, do it via the Discord server. I'd love to hear from you, but I'll do your live comments. I'll do your live chat. I also want to speak and hear from Liverpool fans about your big move today, the signing, the capturing of Konate. I want to understand how you're thinking and you're feeling about that. Are you happy with it, worried about it, or anything along those lines? We did a light stream earlier, but of course couldn't delve into it in much more detail than that, to be honest. Yves Basuma, who's one of our members, says he doesn't want to downgrade. Listen, let's just drop all the banter now when it comes to Jadon Sancho. He is happy and willing to play for Manchester United. So I think people have just got to get that out of their heads. Legitimately have just got to get that out of their heads, because he is willing and ready to play for Man United Football Club. That is just how it is. Like, there's no point. I don't think there's any point fighting it now, people. It's just the way things are. He is happy to play for Man United. Jacob here says, I am happy to hear about Konate to Liverpool. I trust Klopp and I hope he does well. And I wish Sancho a good career with Manchester United. That is from Jacob. That's a very grown-up way of looking at it. Sharek here says the Glazers cannot afford to not get Sancho at this point. The outrage would be monumental. And that's a fair point to pull on. That is a huge and fair point to pull on, because there's no way back for this ownership. There's no way back for them at all. There's not even, forget way back. There's no respite for them if they don't sign the player. None whatsoever. Terry, isn't there meant to be a bid going in? Absolutely. As we said at the top of the video, the price has been, when I say it's been agreed, the clubs have not spoke directly, but let's not get bogged down with semantics. They're speaking via intermediaries. Man United believe they're going to bid enough. It's going to be around about the £80 million mark. They believe Dortmund are going to accept. As long as Man United try nothing stupid and they put that bid in, it's going to go through. But Man United fans, brace yourself. Brace yourself for what Dortmund are going to do. Dortmund are going to try and spin this. They're going to try and spin this and make people believe that there's a problem with Jadon Sancho. Attitude, training regime, diets. Just wait for some of these stories to, when you see those stories circulating, Terry mentioned that. I'm not going to delve into them in great detail because I don't think they're overtly important, but they can and they probably will come through. We had a few people try and call in. We're going to get Steve on the line here, who called in via StreamYard. Once we have him on, we'll go into that call. Terry, what are United waiting for? For me, they were waiting for the end of the season. They were waiting for the end of the season, which for us, it was only a couple of days ago in relation to it. They're now just what I've been told today is that they're finalizing the details towards the deal, and they've said they're going to push ahead. My concern isn't so much what are they waiting for. My concern is I think they will wait. The one thing in the back of my head, I think Jadon Sancho would play for us, but I still think this is going to be drawn out. I still think the Glazers are going to look at this and go, look, nobody else is in for him. Nobody else has gone for him. Nobody's made the inroads we have. Let's try and get some money off. It's why Dortmund are holding back from putting out this information publicly about being disheartened with him. They want to wait until the deal's done, and then they're going to use it as sort of reverse PR in that way to say, look, we'd love to have kept him. We're not a selling club. We wanted to keep him, but we had all these problems with him, so we decided to cash in. That very much smells like what they're going to go out there and do. Fury, if you're calling in on the show, I'm going to try and call you back. We're going to try and get Fury27 on. We can't use StreamYard tonight because it's playing silly beggars. So we're going to try and go to your calls this evening. Terry, the satisfaction of hearing my name pronounced right. Thanks. Not a problem. Sharek, get your super chats in as well, ladies and gentlemen. Member chats and super chats will get you on the air. If you're going to message on Discord and say, get me on, please answer when I phone back. Otherwise, there's no point. Otherwise, there's no point me calling you back. If you want to come on, please come on and have your say right now. Give us a call via Discord. Just via the Discord server. Give us a buzz. get yourselves on. Would love to hear from you. We've tried having Steve on. We've tried calling Fury27. You're clearly still watching, so if you're not answering, I don't know what to say. But try calling us back. Maybe I'll connect my phone, actually. Maybe if I connect my phone via Bluetooth, we can get some calls on that way as well. Bear with me while I do this. Takes a bit of time sometimes to get these things all connected and done, and then we can do it via Bluetooth. It might be a little bit easier. Glaze it out says, I heard 70 million plus 10 million of add-ons. Yeah, I mean, that can be it. Like, that doesn't sound like it's beyond the realms of possibility. When we think about everything that's going on, hopefully going to get this roadcaster signed up soon. So it might be easier to call if you're trying to call via your devices. All right, so the roadcaster is now connected. So if anybody calls in, so if you're watching and you've got my phone number and you want to phone in, do it that way. If you want to call in via Discord, it should all be working. If you don't, then I don't know what to say to you. But we can't take StreamYard calls tonight. We've got Alienator on here. Are you there?
Hi, how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm very well. How about yourself?
I'm good. I'm just wondering though about the Sancho deal.
Yeah.
Like, are we not putting all our eggs into one basket here?
In what way?
Well, we have a number of positions that need to be filled,
right?
Especially like defensive midfielder and right back. Or should we not be going after alternatives?
Like who?
If I wouldn't go after Declan Rice either, because like he's 60 million. But what about Cooper Mines for midfield?
Tell me about him. What would he bring to Man United in your opinion?
I think he's a very good defensive midfielder, and we have seen him play in the Europa League before.
So are you not of the belief that Man United are going to rectify a number of positions?
I don't think they will. I think they'll buy Jadon Sancho, and that would be it. I think you're going to see like one spend on one player, and that will be it. That's what I'm fearing.
Well, do you know what I would say to that? I mean, if that does happen, and I pray that it doesn't, I understand logically why you'd think that, then that's another reason for every single Man United fan to get off players' backs, get off the managers' back, and focus on one group of people and one group of people only, and that's the owners of this football club. Because Jadon Sancho is a must for me. He's one of the best creative football players in the world, so I don't want us to miss out on him. But then we should be investing elsewhere. There's a number of players to sell. There's an opportunity to raise funds, and that is what I would be doing, mate. But that's my views on it, bro. Thank you very much for your call. Really appreciate that. Top man. Thank you very, very much. We are taking more calls via Discord. If you want to have your say as well, we've got Six who's with us now. What are you saying, Six? Six, are you there?
Hello?
Yes. Hi, how you doing?
Yeah, my view is, for the Jadon Sancho signing, obviously it will be a brilliant signing to add to our attack. I have to say that one positive thing about Ole is that obviously the board will let him spend funds better than managers like Mourinho and Van Gaal, because obviously he's for the board, so he wouldn't go against them. So that's the only positive I see in Ole, is that the board will give him leverage to buy good players to bring in.
Yeah, I understand. What do you make of what the previous caller said, that he's concerned that we'll end up just buying Sancho and not going for other positions? We'll basically spend all our money on one player, and then the rest of the squad will be left with holes in still.
Well, I don't think it will be like that, because obviously Ole has come out and said that he wants 3 to 4 players. So I think, yeah, he's right that in a way that we would spend up most of our funds for Sancho and probably get average players in the other positions. But I think I trust that this summer we will bring in at least 2 to 3 good players. If we don't do more than that, well, I don't see us doing good next season.
The squad does need to be improved dramatically. You're absolutely spot on there, buddy. Thank you very much for calling in and having your say. Really appreciate that, mate. Thank you very, very much indeed. Lines are still open if you want to come in. We had Ray that called in a few moments ago. We're going to try and get Ray back on the line as well to have his say. Let's do some more of your comments while we're waiting. Sharik says, Terry, Ollie said live that he needs 3 players, not for the future, for the here and now. And that's very true. And that's when I look at Jadon Sancho, he is a here and now player. He's a here and now player due to the fact that he's just so talented. He is ridiculously talented as a football player. And he's needed by Manchester United dramatically. Man United need him hugely. He is required, no questions asked. He is needed at Manchester United in a very, very big way indeed. Let's do some more of these comments that are coming through here. Get your super chats in as well, please, ladies and gentlemen. Any questions you have for us, Terry? Where do I get these people? Listen, man, they're your community. They're the terrorist community. They're entitled to their opinions, whether I or you or anybody else agrees with them or not. Yash of United here says, I'm worried about our coaching. Doesn't matter who we bring in. I don't think our coaching setup is good enough to bring the best out of the players. I agree with that. I completely concur, but that doesn't mean I don't want to sign the best players possible. I think you need to aim for both. Next on the show, we've got Ayan is here with us. What you saying, buddy? Are you there? Sorry, I can't. Hello? Hello? Okay, he's not there now. He was there. He isn't there now. Let me end that call. Maybe he'll come back in a few moments' time. Maybe. We'll see. But yeah, I think we need the best. We need the best in class. It's as simple as that for me. Ian, you there?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can now. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, very well. What's your take on this news today? Man United, the only club. So what I would say is this: Man United are the only club in for him. Chelsea, all the Chelsea, Liverpool talk right now, I would say cast them to the back of your mind. Man United are where he's looking to go. He spends a lot of time back in Manchester. The price has been preliminary agreed. It's just waiting for a Man United bid. How do you feel about the deal?
Yeah, so I've been on here before and I've told you like numerous times, I think Sancho was like with last summer, with the amount of progress we made on the deal, all this talk of Chelsea, Liverpool, I didn't believe it. Like I knew like they're all gonna like flirt with the idea of getting Sancho, but I know like how far ahead United was with the deal. So I think this is the least we could have expected from the summer was at least getting Sancho in. Now I saw a report that we have a 150 million net spend is what the target is for the board. And if you think about it, with the players that we're looking to offload, with Jesse Lingard, Delo, Mata, Matic, I don't see why we should be worried about getting one big name player for 80 million. Like at this price, I think Sancho is completely worth it.
Yeah, I mean, I think I understand everybody's concerns with not filling up other positions in the team. But Sancho is, you know, back to
I understand.
Back to a previous comment that someone made around is Ollie needs players for the here and now, not the future. Jadon Sancho's both of those rolled into one. Jadon Sancho is for the here and now, but he's also got a massive future at the football club because of his age. I think it's a must. My issue is I don't want us to subsidize a player of Sancho's level to fill the squad. Man United should be buying a player of Sancho's level and filling the squad. I think people are missing the trick there. Do you get where I'm coming from?
Completely, and that's why I don't see us doing that. I think we are going to get Sancho. I think we're still going to invest in a center back, either whether it be Pau Torres, whether it be Varane, depending on the price. I still think we will get a backup right back. I still think we will get our Tom Heaton's already done. I mean, we are filling in the gaps in the squad. And we're like probably Kieran Trippier or Max Aarons are right back. Like we are going to get a secondary right back. we are going to get Jadon Sancho and we're going to get a center back. The position I'm worried about is CDM and how we look to fill that with the lack of funds. That's my area of concern, honestly.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I as I say, I understand where people come from when they say, I'd rather not get Sancho and fill those other positions. And I get it. But for me, it's a case of I'd rather us do what we're meant to do, a club of our size, with our fan base, with our income, and secure all those areas. Buddy, I appreciate you coming on, having your say. Great call as always. Top man. Thank you. You can phone in now via the Discord server. The link for that is in our description below. Rambo here says, Ollie will keep lying for the Glazers, is what he says. David Price says, Man United have good youth coming through. I hope they get a chance next season. I'm sure that they will. Thank you very much, by the way, to, I can't read that name. Is it, I think it's, I actually can't read that. That is too difficult for my dyslexic brain to handle. But thank you very much, sir, for signing up and being becoming a first team member. I really do appreciate that. Neil Driscoll says, Sancho, a good signing for United. I think Sancho is an impeccable signing for Manchester United. I think Jadon Sancho is amazing. But in terms of, a few people have said today, Terry, what's actually new about what's being said today? The pricing and the fee is pretty normal. But there's two things to focus on here. Nobody else is trying to sign Jadon Sancho. That, for me, is key. There isn't another team out there that's trying to sign him. We keep having this. There's only... We keep having this notion every other day, Liverpool or City or Chelsea, someone's looking at him. There's only one club he's moving to, and it's Manchester United. The only people that can ruin that are our board. Right now, no one's working towards him. It's Manchester United. The bid is imminent. You're even going to get Dortmund try and make it sound like they're doing the Dortmund fans a favor by spreading nonsense about him, being fed up with his attitude. Unhappy that he flies back to Manchester at every opportunity after matches. There's also going to be claims about his lack of effort in training and his eating habits or his bad diet. These things are going to come out very, very, very soon. Remember who's giving you that information, and we go from there. Remember, if you want to call in, StreamYard is open. We're going to get Steve on the line now. Steve's going to come on and have his say. What are you saying, buddy?
Hi, Terry. Great to be back on the show.
Not a problem at all, mate. What's your thoughts on this Jadon Sancho news this evening?
I think it's good news. I'm glad he's going to be signing for us, hopefully. But, if he wants to come over with any team to go from, just hopefully we don't muck it up, like you say.
Yeah, absolutely. What's your take on what a lot of Man United fans are saying tonight? That he's good. They're excited about the prospect of him, but they'd rather the money be spent elsewhere.
I think we have to take the opportunity and get him because, we did it with Wayne Rooney, we've done it with Percy, we've done it with other players, and if they become available, you got to take the world's best when you can. So I think it'd be hard to turn it down. Even though I get what people mean, we need to get maybe Declan Rice or another centre back. But I think for Sancho, you have to take the opportunity and get him.
Yeah, absolutely. And what are the other areas that you want the club to focus on if they can get this deal done and dusted and finished and over the line?
Central defensive midfielder and centre back, and possibly another centre forward. But then I'm not fussed about that because we've got Cavani. But it'd be nice if we can get hold of, like they say, the Haalands or the Hurricanes. But that's not really priority, I guess, at the moment. It'd be Sancho and the defensive midfielder and centre back. Possibly right back to help Alan Bissaka get Luke Shaw and push on for himself, or the other person takes his place.
Yeah, I hear that completely. I think that the CB area since the Harry Maguire injury, the amount of people now that I see that just are desperate for a new centre back, it's the growth in people saying it's a problem position. I actually feel people see it more of an issue now than maybe even the midfield, because it just shows us without Maguire, there's so much weakness. There really, really is. Steve, thank you very much for calling in and having your say. Really appreciate that, buddy. I really, really do. Let's do some more. A few people asked me, "What have you heard about Gundogan or everyone says his name different. I've heard Gundogan. We'll just call him Silky Ilky. Yeah, I've heard he's limped off injured. That'll be a big blow tomorrow to City. However, when you're Man City and when you're Chelsea, you've got such deep, vast squads. It's all right, isn't it? Do you know what I'm saying? It's all okay because your squad's so deep, it's so thick, it's so strong. Monster here says, could there be a possibility no one moves? What do you mean, Monster? I don't understand that. You mean no transfers? I don't even mean to. What do you mean, bro? Gerard here with the super chat says, if Sancho arrives, I believe I would be happy to see Ahmad go to Dortmund on loan for a season. If he stays, I would be worried about his development due to the lack of game time. I wouldn't be. It's highly likely that another attacker or two are going to leave. And if Sancho comes in, Dan James will get a lot less time, could even move on. Juan Mata is going to go. We could even see Anthony Martial leave this summer if funds are needed, if additional funds are needed to bring in a CDM, centre-backs, etc. That will free up time and space and opportunity for Ahmad. United are not... The only reason Ahmad would go out on loan at this point in his career would be if the club didn't think he was good enough to make it, in my opinion. I hear your point about game time, but I think he'll get it. I really do think that he will get that. There's no doubt at all. Frieza says the team literally carries the manager. I hear that. But what's the alternative? They throw him under the bus. See, I don't advocate that. I don't advocate any kind of player power, whether it's for the greater good or not. Because, you might... don't let the wolf through your door just because you share a common enemy. Don't side with your enemy. They say things like that saying, an enemy of my enemy is my friend. Depends. Because what about when you work together to get rid of your enemy? What if they then turn on you? And I think advocating player power leads to ruin in the end. Bad behaviors. It will always that you could have a great team, squad, and manager, and if player power is something that's deemed acceptable because fans wanted it, it can scupper things that are very, very good. So there's no alternative. If the players are saving Ollie's job, we can't help that. What we need is for the ownership of this football club. We need the ownership of this football club to push back. We need the ownership of this football club to realize what's right and what's wrong, what's good and what's bad. That's where the focus has got to be. I see a lot of people say, I've seen a few people literally say, I don't want Ollie to get quality players. Why would you not want Man United to have the best players possible? Sort of, what's the expression? Like, two wrongs don't make a right. And keeping Ollie here may not be the right decision. But not signing Jadon Sancho, that's a secondary and another bad decision. Advocating for player power is another bad decision. This. Imagine we don't do any of those things. Like Ollie stays, and because Ollie stays, we don't buy quality players. But even the players that are left, they turn to player power to out the manager and stop performing. I don't want any of those things. So I don't know. I don't know how to respond to that other than I don't want those kind of behaviors at my football club at all. There's one guy who puts the same comment in every show. He always makes me laugh. Pav here says, only just on what have I missed? Great time for a recap, to be absolutely fair. To be fair with you. I got so many messages. Cool. One sec, mate. Cool. One sec, Pav. Cool. All right. Yeah. So an update for everyone who has just tuned in. So, as been reported for about a week or so now, further reports have come out today which have been confirmed that Man United and Dortmund, via an intermediary, have agreed on a price and a bid is imminent. It's being put together by Manchester United. What the new news today is, or confirmation today, is that there's only one team working towards landing Jadon Sancho. There's only one team that Jadon Sancho wants to join, and that is Manchester United. So all reports of Chelsea, all reports of Liverpool, or any other obscure team trying to get their hands on Jadon Sancho is not the case. Man United fans beware, though, because there is a sting in the tail of this deal. It's not a real sting in the tail. In my opinion, it's a bit of a fake one. It's a little bit of a fugazi. But rivals or detractors of the Sancho deal, for whatever their motivation, are going to try and pull on a particular thread. They're going to try and convince us that Jadon Sancho's got a bad attitude. That Dortmund wanted him out because of this attitude. They were annoyed with how often he was flying back to Manchester after games. There's going to be talk about bad training methodology, bad diet or bad eating habits. There's a number of these stories that are going to come out and be pushed out by Borussia Dortmund, in my opinion, to save a little bit of face. One, to try and prove they're not a selling club, which we all know they are. And secondly, to try and give a reason as to why they ended up having to sell him for less, like they couldn't get as much as they wanted because of these bad things. Just keep your eye out for some of those stories that are going to start to surface. As a Man United fan, I'm going to be debunking them and pushing them away because they're absolute nonsense. There's nothing wrong with Jadon Sancho's behavior, attitude. Do you know how you know this as well? How you know it's BS? The level of performances he's put in for the last 3 years. You ain't doing that if you're eating burgers and chips every night. You ain't putting in that level of performance and training if he's flying from Germany to Manchester 2 times a week, like they're trying to claim. It's all a load of nonsense. So keep your eyes out for that. But KJ's on with us now. KJ, how you doing, brother? You good?
Yeah.
There we go. I've got you on. Everyone can hear you now. Not a problem. What's your thoughts on this Sancho news? First of all, are you surprised that Dortmund are going to try and sell this as a bit of a, oh, we had to get rid of him, blah, blah, blah?
No, because we've seen them do that in the past many times before. It's what they do. Bami's, Griezmann and Dembele had issues. When it's a player that they really want to keep a hold of, but that player's like, no, I'm leaving. They do this whole semi-smear campaign of, let's just say these things are happening a bit more than they are, just to try and save face a bit. Because if you think about it, them man went from demanding 120 million euros, to what, 90? They've lost a significant amount of money on this deal, which for them is frustrating. Because if they had literally accepted Man United's offer last season, they would have got 100 million.
Yep.
But now they're getting 80. So they're just I just believe they're trying to save face by doing that. And I'm not surprised by those actions because at the end of the day, they need to try and keep a reputation of they're not a selling club. They get what they want at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, listen, I totally agree with you. That's what a lot of this is for. And the reason that I'm bringing it to light is because Man United fans, in my view, have got to come out in force. Man United fans have got to come out and push back on this because it's going to be used as a way to try and discredit it, to discredit the club and everything else surrounding it. It truly is. It truly is, in my opinion. So I think we need to sort of push back against it in that way. In terms of the deal, though, £80 million is the price. And the fact that he only wants to join Man United, he wants to live back in Manchester for one reason or another. A lot of his friends, a lot of people he's close to are here. Yeah, how excited are you now at the prospect that we're getting this close to a bid coming in? And Sancho, forget the fact, let's just put the Wallads aside for a minute and hopefully they don't delay things. But when this is done and agreed, how excited are you with everything that's gone on at Man United with the prospect of having one of the best young footballers in the world sign for this football club?
I want to be, you know what, if it wasn't for the Europa League result, I would be buzzing right now. And when I take the Europa League disappointment out of it, I'm very excited. He's a player that I've enjoyed for the last 2 seasons, a player that I've wanted for the last 2 seasons. We've been wanting him ever since he was around Man City because he was running his contract down. And United wanted him because he knew the quality that he had.
Yeah.
And so when we sign him, let me not say when because these pagans are pagans in it, but if we sign him,
yeah,
I'm going to be very excited. I'm going to be very excited, not for the club as a whole in terms of we're back and the titles are coming, but the forward line that we could potentially have going forward: Rashford, Greenwood, Sancho, Martial, Ahmad. It's a thing of beauty. And then when Cavani leaves, add another striker in there. You've got the 6-man strike force I've been wanting for a while. A wonderful strike force. People worried about Ahmad. Don't worry about Ahmad. You only loan out a player of his age if he doesn't have the quality yet to even be playing for Man United. We've all seen that from the little career he's got the quality. He's got the quality. All he needs now is to adapt to the league, adapt to England, and he'll get his game time. The fact that he started 2 games this season, I was shocked. I was like, wow, like what the hell's going on here? But a man can only get better because Jadon Sancho is here, because Greenwood's here, because Rashford's here, and Martial. So Man United fans can be excited. Obviously, kind of detracts from the major issues that we'll still have.
Yeah.
But it's something to hold on to and be like, yo, we can do something next season.
Mate, and that's exactly right. And I think I'm the same as you, where there's still major issues at the club, but I still want the best players in the world to come here. Because do you know what? Let's just say it. I'm not debating it anymore. There's no tactics. There's no training. It's all about freestyle football. I still want to win. So
yeah,
we need the best in-house then, don't we? So if everything people say about Ollie is true, and I'm just not arguing with it, it's true, then you need the best players possible. Signing players with half the valuation, lesser players, all that's going to do is make us a worse team. So either way you look at this, it can only be seen, in my view, as a positive. Harrison here says, Terry, people saying Ollie has failed because this team can win the league is so wrong, considering his job was to build a squad that could win. Ollie was never brought in to win. Give him one more year and watch. Do you know what I say, Harrison? Do you know what's interesting for me? I agree with parts of what you're saying there, and that every Man United manager has to win every trophies. Was it fair to expect Ollie to win the Premier League in his first couple of years based on everything that had happened prior to him? Probably not. But, you know, we should have done better in some of the other semi-finals that we were in, and we certainly should have beaten Villarreal. And that can't be, whether you're staunch Ollie inner or not, or Ollie outer, that, in my opinion, cannot be defended. He should have been. He should have had at least one trophy now as Man United manager, and it's disappointing that he's not. However, doesn't mean we shouldn't be going out there and buying him better players, because if at the end of this, if this summer, if by Christmas, if by the end of next year, whichever way around it will go, he moves on, you know, it's more of an attractive prospect for a new coach to come into a team that has a Sancho in it, that has a Pogba with a new deal in it, that has a Rashford, that has a Greenwood, than if they're gone. So for me, it's I hear where you're coming from. Geordie T with a super chat says, Ollie right now reminds me of when we had Brendan Rodgers. He's good enough to get the team back competing, but at some point, Hughes will need a Klopp. I think that's. What do you make of that comment, KJ? Do you think that's about right?
Yeah, no, it's fair enough. Like, I feel like he has got the capability of building for the future and building a foundation. I feel like that's his job at the end of the day. The trophy thing is something that we just really wanted from him as a manager, but we just have to be honest that it's not going to be happening in my eyes anyway. I don't think he will be the guy to do that. But if he lays down foundations, if he buys players for the club that can adapt, and when a new manager comes in can play good football, then his job will be complete. Will we be looking back at his time super fondly? No, because obviously of all the disappointments. But at least we can sit there and appreciate the fact that, you know what, yeah, for a club, he's helped us. You know what I mean? For the club, he's helped us. And that's what we should just view Ollie as from now on.
Yeah, mate, I totally agree. And I think that's where when it comes to ins and outers, it becomes skewed. And it's almost like we need what you're all saying. Both make good points. But what the club needs is somewhere nearer the middle. And whatnot. Twisted Bubba says, Terry, why would United allow Ollie to manage young world-class talent? Well, if you're asking that question because you don't think Ollie's good enough, the answer is because the club isn't good enough, isn't run well enough. And I've seen so many tweets in the last few days over the managerial situation. It's a disgrace that we don't behave better. But all the venom in the tweets are about Ollie. It's like, bruv, you know, like Pirlo didn't sack himself. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, Pirlo said he wanted to stay and he was going to stay.
Exactly. It's like, and people are claiming that he doesn't love Juve or respect them as a football club. It's like, I want us to behave like those clubs as well, but you're focusing on the wrong person. Do you know what I mean, bro? It's like give an equivalent. It's like being angry with Donny that Ollie doesn't pick him.
Yeah,
That's it. It's just stupidity that makes people say those things. It really, really is. Let's do some more of these comments here. Shadak Rahman says we are losing in part. Sorry, we are losing in part of a massive hole. Sorry, we are losing in part due to a massive hole in the midfield. McFred are not dynamic enough. We hardly create enough chances for our strikers to finish to finish up and score goals. I kind of get what you're saying there, Rahman. Sancho will help with that creativity. There's no doubt. The central area needs fixing. We all know it needs fixing. We all know it needs fixing as well. And the club are the club will buy players in all positions, the positions that need filling. The majority they're going to fill this summer. I think people are, again, I don't know who's pushed this notion out that United can only find one player and one player only. That's true. This is what happens with these stories, bruv, and it always makes me sad. I want to cry sometimes when I see journalists do this. Some journalists do this. United only have enough money to buy Sancho. Yeah, if we don't sell anyone, and we are going to sell people, so hush on it. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's deals to be done. Like, Liverpool just signed Konate for 36 mil. Basuma's available for around 30 odd mil. There are players out there. Now, if we choose not to, then I'm going to be angry. But until that point, I'm going to stay a little bit relaxed.
Yeah, well, we've got a long summer ahead in terms of, because of the Euros, a lot of transfers will be pushed back anyway. So we'll just have to see at the end of the window what we come up with. I get why Man United fans are very, very cautious about the window. I completely get it, because you never know what these pagans will do. But all we can literally, you know what I think is, all we can do is hoping in Fletcher and Murta to do their job. But if you don't trust them in the first place, you're going to be in a bad place, isn't it? So, yeah, man, we got a long summer ahead. We got a lot of sales to get done. The low looks like it's going to be leaving to AC Milan. Jesse Lingard, will he be kept? I hope not. Quite a matter. Please don't give him an extension, please. You know what I mean? Just let him go. And we've got a couple of young players coming through. James Garner and Ethan Laird have very good loan seasons. Will we loan them out again? You know what I mean? So there's a lot of things to be done at Man United. So we literally just gotta take it and see what happens. Sancho could be the first step forward.
Totally agree. We had a comment that came through here as well from Mr. Slack a lot, who says, Terry, who's your weakest link at United at the present moment? For me, it's clearly Ollie. Do you know what? If we're not talking about ownership or board members, we're talking about playing elements only. I would agree to a degree. I mean, look, there are certain players in our squad. Like, I think Dan James is a worse player than Ollie is manager, but I'm not going to get into that. I can agree that Ollie's the weakest link, but I'm more angry that he's been given a new 3-year deal than I am with the way I suppose this is what it comes down to. I'm more frustrated that he's been given a new deal, higher salary, and it's going to be here for another 3 years if he keeps qualifying for the top 4. That's more frustrating to me than how he plays football, how he talks in press conferences, his in-game management. All those things annoy me to a degree, but none of that is as annoying as the people that have given him this new deal and are going to allow him to stay at the football club. That's why I say that the Ollie focus I get, because I agree with so much of what Ollie out to say, but I just feel the energy is misplaced. The energy is at the wrong person. As we've said, if he gets a new deal, the abuse is going to go to Ollie, but it shouldn't be. The abuse, if you're going to give abuse, the frustration, the anger should go towards the owners of the football club who are giving him that new deal. So he may be the weakest link, but so I'm going to focus my attention on the people that are going to keep him in power. Of course, after a bad performance, I focus on the game. But when it comes down to how do we resolve this, Terry? Well, we can't make Ollie any better, can we? So we need to focus on the decision makers at the club. That's my take on that one, bro. We had another super chat as well, from Eves Basuma, that says, Terry, I'm the official Basuma on God. Well, listen, Yves Bissouma. The fact that you must be Yves Bissouma must be on holiday in America. The fact that you've done that super chat in dollars is interesting. So I hope you enjoy your holiday in America, my friend. I hope you have a real great time out there, bro. Just quickly for myself, KJ, what's your thoughts on the Konate deal today?
Very, very good deal. Very good deal. I was saying in the comment section that if you look at the centre-back players that Liverpool have now, you have Van Dijk, Konate, you're going to have Joe Gomez, you're going to have Nat Phillips as a backup, and Ben Davies as a backup. If Matic stays, you got another one. That's a good centre-back team. You have three players that can be your starters, and you've got two backups there that Nat Phillips has shown that he can play for Liverpool. Maybe not for a long period of time, but when he's called upon, he'll do a job. And Ben Davies, you never know. He could be a very good signing in the end. You just have to get given a game time. So yeah, I think there's two very good signings for Liverpool. And if they get more additions to their squad, more rotation for the forward line, hey man, they could be back with a vengeance next summer. You know what I'm saying?
Mate, 100%. Like it's a scary signing, and I was talking to. I can't wait for us to actually start getting these shows done so that we can stop talking in riddles. But I was talking to one of the new sort of journalists about this, and he was saying that Liverpool are very happy with the level of due diligence into the injury. So there's no concerns over Konate being injury prone per se. It was all very much about this torn muscle fiber injury. But they've done a lot of research. He's had a couple of medicals, and they're really happy that that's beyond him and past him. If they pick up a 22-year-old defender that turns out to be world-class for £36 million, it's just, it could end up being a better signing than Van Dijk because it's £36 million.
Yeah.
Even if he's not quite as good as Van Dijk, for £36 million, in terms of if you're looking at the deal in its entirety, it's going to be a snip. I think he's going to be worth. If he reaches 80% of his potential, he's a top class centre back. And in this modern day era, a top class centre back of that level is worth 70 to 80 million pounds anyway. We've seen that, so it's an absolute steal. It's an absolute steal. It really is. There's another comment here from Twisted. I'm going to pose this question to KJ. He says, and I quote, would you choose a world-class manager over landing Sancho?
No.
Why not?
I wouldn't. Because I feel like Sancho, one, will help improve any manager that is being given. So you've seen it with Lucien Favre and with, I forgot the name of the guy who was in charge of Dortmund, the caretaker manager. They aren't world-class managers, but he still performed for them. He still was able to get numbers and help the team out. That is, for me, going to be more of a improvement to Man United than just a world-class manager, because then we still have holes on the right-hand side. We still have holes in the midfield, and we still need help creatively. So I believe Jadon Sancho will be here longer than any world-class manager anyway. Especially with the board that we have and the way they operate, they will probably be gone in 2 years, where Sancho, more likely 4 to 5 minimum. So yeah, that's why I'd pick Jadon Sancho over a world-class manager, because that world-class manager will come at some point. Jadon Sanchos don't come around often.
Do you know what? You make a good point in terms of the Sancho thing. I still think I'd pick if someone said to me now, listen, you could have, what world-class managers are out there right now? But let's just say if Poch was offered to us, someone said you can get Poch, but you won't land Sancho. I think I'd pick Poch. And I say that, it makes my heart hurt because I love the idea of having Sancho, but I think I would just pick him. I think just, but only just. But then imagine missing out on Sancho forever. Oh,
yeah, that's the thing for me. I know we've got Ahmad. I know we've got Ahmad, and he's promising. I'm looking forward to see it develops. But the kid's 18. Jadon Sancho is older, physically built better, and got more experience than him. Yeah. And going forward, I feel like I can trust Sancho more in terms of his development, being able to handle the pressure, than Ahmad right now. who, yes, on the world class manager could become great, but how long would that take? With Jadon Sancho, at least you know you're guaranteed quality.
I hear you. I hear your point. I hear your point. Do me a favor, everyone who's tuning in. Please hit that like button. Please hit that share button for us as well. It mean a great deal to us if you can do that. Safe. There's no link. You got to call in via Discord, but there we go. And yeah, thank you very much, Neeks, for blocking that comment there from Matt. I saw that behind the scenes as well. Terry, would your United pride ever let you sign Benitez? Benitez
I don't care.
Yeah, but Benitez is also, in my opinion, isn't good enough to get Man United back to where we want to be. In my view, he's past his best. If it was peak Benitez, then potentially. But now I don't think he's there anymore. Like, what other top clubs are asking for Benitez? None of them. So it's not that. That's nothing to do. Me saying no is nothing to do with it. Listen, I've changed my style. If Jurgen Klopp left Liverpool tomorrow and said he fancied managing Man United, I'm so desperate to get back to the best. I'm saying taking it. Yeah, let's do it. Let's have it. Do you know what I mean? But Benitez, I don't think he's good enough anymore.
Yeah, I don't think it's good enough right now, but I'm not one of those people that's got those wild allegiances where it's just like, he was a Liverpool manager out there. No, if he's good enough, he's good enough. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's all we need right now. We don't need to worry about who and what and where he's managed. We just need the best manager for Manchester United. And that supersedes any kind of past allegiances or past clubs that they may have been at.
Yeah, no, mate, I agree. I do agree with that right now. And that's what happens. Like when you're at the top of the tree, you can be really picky over what you have. When the world's at your feet, you know, it's very easy to be picky and choosy. What is it? Like beggars can't be choosers. Is that the expression? I'm not sure where that's from. It's probably a biblical saying, to be fair. But beggars can't be choosers, and that's how I feel right now. But yeah, Benitez ain't good enough, so it's a hard one to answer. Someone here says Klopp is better than Man United. Well, he's definitely better than their manager. There's no doubt about that. Footy Sense here says Sancho is great, but he isn't God's gift. The way United are making him out to be, because if he was, Dortmund would have been a lot closer to Munich. Sancho wouldn't be their savior.
Well, but Dortmund did need Jadon Sancho to save them. When he was away, Haaland's goals dried up. Their performances were low, and they looked like they weren't going to reach top four.
Yeah.
He comes back, Haaland's banging goals again, and they drive themselves not only to a top four finish, but also a Pokal. And the only coincidence is, if you want to call it coincidence, Jadon Sancho coming back. So is he Messi? No. But is he a very talented footballer that Man United have a position open for? Yes. So I don't see why people would be annoyed of signing him. The only reason why you're annoyed is because you know he's good enough to make us better.
Yeah. I think that's a big part of it. I think people do know. Neeks here with a comment. Neeks says, Neeks said, where is it? If we miss out on Poch, there's another, like, sort of other better managers out there to get. If we don't get Sancho, what's the alternative? And I think that's a fair point, because as we've said, what Jadon Sancho has achieved at his age in his first 3 seasons as a pro in one of the elite leagues is unprecedented. And it's no one's ever done what he's done. That's the cold hard facts. Nobody has ever done what Jadon Sancho has done. So for me, I wouldn't be. It's hard, you know. I still think I'd take a world-class manager, but I totally get why you would say the other thing. That's my point. To dismiss it, I think is mad. Michael with a super chat says, world-class managers build a great squad, but a world-class player is a distraction for a team. For example, Ozil at Arsenal, rubbish Kane at Spurs. I understand your point. But you know what? This is what I can't speak for Neeks and KJ here, but I understand the thought along the lines of, I think if we continue to operate the way we do as a club, even with a world-class manager, we're not going to win anything. So just have some great players, play a good bit of ball every now and then. Like, that's all we've got to hope for. Like, that's how it feels right now. As a Red, I feel like that's all we've got to hope for. But in both sides of the argument, really important. There's another question that came in here, bro. Someone said, would you, if you had the chance to pick Klopp now, but it meant no Sancho, would you do it?
Why would you ask me that? Jurgen Klopp is a fantastic manager, absolutely world class. You know what? Yeah, I will say yes. I would take Klopp over Sancho due to the fact that Klopp's record of improving players and recruiting well I would trust that more than you know what I'm trying to say. I would kind of trust that. Say, but Jadon Sancho is so good. You know what? I'll stick with my I would take Jurgen Klopp. I feel like he could potentially do something because he's a proven winner. He's a proven coach. But then he's working with our board.
Yeah.
You know how much this costume is, Terry.
I know, it's a hard one. It's a hard one because suddenly loyalty comes into it and emotion and feeling. And as Man United fans, there's been dozens of occasions where we've despised Klopp on a football level, not on a personal level. So yeah, it's a very difficult question indeed.
You know what? No, screw it. I mean, why am I trying to pander to the masses? Screw that button. Yo, Jadon Sancho over everybody. Jadon Sancho over everybody, bro. I've been waiting 2 years for this brother, bro. 2 years for this brother. And Jadon Sancho over anybody, bro. I don't care, fam. Yo, if you told me you have to sell Paul Pogba to get Jadon Sancho, I would do it.
Mate, I hear you. We'll see what happens. But listen, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate all of you tuning in. Sorry about the technical difficulties that happened earlier. Hopefully going to try and get it resolved. It might actually be a Google Chrome issue because Google Chrome's not even letting me play back YouTube right now. So it might be a Chrome issue because I had to end up downloading Firefox and doing it through Firefox. So it might be a browser issue. So we'll take a look at that. We're back later on with more content for you. But until then, take care of yourselves. Goodbye. God bless. And we'll see you all again very, very soon. Bye-bye.